Hey guys, how you doing? Ryan with Premiere. So I have something a little bit different today. This is uh, this is not something that I often do on my channel, but something that I'm going to be doing a lot more of here in the next month or so, as I try to gather information and put this case together to get these people shut down and hopefully arrested. Um, this is a story where, if you follow my channel, maybe you saw the video of another company who was piggybacking my name as well as another company's name out of Northern Rhode Island. What they did was they combined both of our names, created a Google page, and they're just hoping that they can hit on some of our customers. How did I find out that this was happening? Well, first of all, there was a customer who I was working with, and she reached out to me and said that she had talked to somebody from my outfit about a week ago. I thought she said the person's name was Joe or John or something. I don't know, but that she spoke to somebody from my outfit about a week ago. And when she was kind of going over the plans and what we had discussed on a previous phone call or meeting, she she got the feeling that she wasn't talking to me, number one, and wasn't talking to somebody that knew anything about the job of the situation. So she asked them, is this Premier Seal Coating? And he said, yeah. And she said, yeah, but are you the Premier Seal Coating? Are you, connected to Ryan? And they said no, but that they were Premier Seal Coating. So the lady was confused, and she, hung up and called me, got my number, or actually reached out to me through email. That's what it was, and said, "Hey, listen, I just tried to call you. And she said, I just went on Google, typed in Premier Seal Coating. When something popped up, I just clicked on that, and that's, how I usually call you. Um, but this time I got this other guy. So I'm thinking like that. It can't be right. There's another company around here that has a similar name to ours. We we often kind of get confused for each other, but they do. Really? Fucking really. Let's try this again. So they have a name similar to ours, but not really. And they do paving and asphalt seal coating. We do asphalt seal coating at tennis courts. Other than our names maybe having close to the same amount of letters and starting with the same letter, there's really no difference in our company. So yeah, sorry. There's another company that's similar sounding to ours from the city who, they're not really our competition, and we're probably not their competition. We do two different things, but sometimes we get people that call. I've actually had people contact me through my Google page, and and one guy was like, I'll see. I'll put the text up. I can show you the conversation. But basically, it was like, hey, you guys did a lousy job on my driveway. Then when my wife called you out on it, you were mean to my wife. I'm fucking furious. I'm like, oh my God, wait a minute. Who is this? Where did this happen? But then at the same time, I'm thinking, wait, no, we're doing tennis courts. We haven't seal coated in a week. And then it hits me like, oh, wait a minute. You're probably looking for Pioneer Seal Coating. Oh, okay. Well, sorry, that's not us. Happens all the time. Have a good day. Um, so yeah, I mean, are there similarities out there? Is shit gonna happen? Yeah, it's gonna happen. You just politely say you're looking for the other guys, but I can help you if you need help. And they either go away or they say, yeah, you can help me. So when the lady tells me this, and I'm a little bit in disbelief at first, I'm like, okay, then I get off the phone with her and I Google my company's name. And sure as shit, this other fucking company's name pops up. But, well, it's my company with another company's like added in there. And so right away, I'm like, wait a minute, so I try to call the number. They don't answer. Um, and I start doing some digging. Who is these people? So I start looking at their videos and I recognize the equipment and I recognize the trucks and I say, wait a minute, this is Do All Construction, formerly Pavement or fucking Sealment or Rely Paving or whatever scam name they're running this week. This company has had 4 or 5 different names, and they have just history going back for a long time of just ripping people off. So I made a video right away to put up on their Google page so that, if anybody found them, less them thinking it's us, and they go into their reviews, they'll see something from me saying this is not the premier seal coating of Oxford. It has no affiliation. This is, by the way, this is actually this company who has a fucking notorious reputation for ripping people off, stealing down payments, doing shitty work. The owner of the company is a complete dirtbag, in and out of jail 100 times. His kid's a dirtbag. The whole family is dirtbags. They're just dirtbags. The father runs around, and every time somebody bitches at him or calls him out on something, he threatens to kill them, and he's going to kick their ass. And, him and his boys are going to come stomp the shit out of everybody. Nobody's called me. Nobody's stopped me. I have some of the most visible trucks in the industry. Not one person has had the balls to stop me and go, hey, you're talking shit. So, and I doubt no one will. They won't. They're fucking cowards. You're a coward. So, I'm not the person that I'm not going to threaten to kick anybody's ass or, blow somebody's head off or whatever the shit this guy says is. My approach to this was, let's make it as public as possible. Let's try to expose these guys for who they are, okay? And let's fucking hit them where it hurts, the pocket. Shit is just falling around this desk. I don't know. So, I set out. I want to find the people that this guy harmed. So I go on Google. I start reading all the Google reviews from his past companies. I go on the Better Business Bureau. I search those past companies. And I start to try to find the people who wrote these reviews, which was not easy at all. All right. It was not easy at all. There was, this isn't like Facebook where you can it's attached to who they are. Like, there's layers of defense that you had to get through. So finally I find the person who wrote one of these reviews. I send him a message. She sends me back a message that says, yes, thank you. I would love to talk to you. These people are horrible. They've screwed me over. And I would love to tell I'd love a chance to tell my story. And that's what I did. I drove out to her place of business. It was a preschool. No. So I drove out to her place of business, and it was a math tutoring center. Okay. A place for kids, a place that helps our kids like grow and be smart. These are the types of people who you're screwing over. Now, I go to a place like that and I see somebody that's trying to do good. I understand maybe they don't have, think about it. How many parents are really paying for their kids to be tutored in math? Not a bunch. I'm sure they're not making tons of money, My parents never gave a shit if I had a math tutor or not. So I can't say the place was packed when I was there, but at the same time, you know, they they preyed on this woman, and she tells her story, and I was lucky enough to go sit with her for an hour, and she allowed me to record her experience with these dirtbags. And that's exactly what they are. They are 100% con artist scumbags. Please find me, scumbags. And you'll hear herself. This is a middle-aged Indian woman, and she talks in this interview about how they threatened her with physical violence. Coincidentally enough, a guy calls me the other day from a local equipment dealer. It was a local Bobcat dealer. And he says, look, we are looking for a piece of equipment that this company, Do All Construction, has. We looked them up online, and we saw that you wrote a review and posted a video about them stealing your name. Do you have any information whatsoever that would help us find this Bobcat? And I told him, no, I didn't, but I knew somebody who was related to them, and I put him in touch with them. I don't know what happened. But so these guys are out burning the people at the Bobcat dealer for not bringing back a piece of equipment that they rented. Now, I stick this thing on my computer because it's right in front of my face. The computer screen, it's got good light. You see my eyes are blue. But the fucking thing keeps falling off. I don't know why it keeps falling off. But yeah. So here we are. We're gonna listen to this recording together. And we'll go from there. All right. So stand by. Let me pull this thing up.
What's your name again? And so what I have found is they're preying on a lot of older people. A lot of the people that I've talked to have been, it was my father, they went to my mother's house, right, and they were supposed to do this. So, my thing was, do you remember how about you found them?
I definitely Googled them. I was looking for paving services, and I Googled, and that name came up, and they came in to give me a quote.
Yep. Do you remember who the guy was that came? Was it Robert?
Yes, that name definitely rings a bell. There was a son and the father.
Yep, Bobby's the son.
Right, yep. Right. So the first time when they came, that was the father who
yep.
came in, and it was towards end of October.
Okay.
So it was kind of getting to the winter months.
Yeah.
So, but I really had to get this paving done, and they came in and they gave me a good quote and everything, and yep. we agreed on it. They did say they want a 50% deposit, and they are going to start the work next week.
Okay.
Okay. And
so hold on,
Okay. So to go through this, I always tell people, be leery of people who ask for deposits. Now, a company may ask for a deposit so that they don't lose on the materials should you not pay them, because it it doesn't happen often, but it does happen where you get a dirtbag. I mean, I know guys that have built mansions on not paying contractors. They just do the work, find something, fuck you, go ahead, try to collect, and and they try to keep these jobs small dollar wise so that you don't want to fight about them. You're just willing to write them off. Okay. So I tell people, be wary of contractors who take deposits. Now, that doesn't mean that a guy's bad if he asks for a deposit. Maybe it just means he was burnt in the past. But a bigger company should, be able to bankroll your job without asking you for any kind of money down. So.
Because I'm just gonna dissect that a little bit. All right.
Yeah, sure.
So when when Robert showed up, were you did you lead on in any way that you needed to get this done by the end, that you were trying to get this done by the end of the year?
No, but I mean, I didn't say that it is an ever-ending project because I wanted to get it done.
Yeah.
So I did say that I wasn't sure if that is the right time to get it done. I was a little skeptical, so I asked them, thinking that they are the experts, and they probably can guide me. And I said that we are almost close to the winter months. Can we get it done? And they said, oh yeah, unless and until it's not snowing, you can certainly get it done.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, then let's just do it.
Okay.
And we showed the entire property where we wanted. So it is the whole here, the back, and
it's
the
not
side,
that big.
It's not just the front. We have also the back. So the whole area. And they gave us a quote, and we discussed everything. And we're like, okay, so let's just get it done. It was, I think it was a weekend, like Friday or Saturday or something like that, because we were closed in the center there. And I said, okay, so next week, and I had to get it done when the center is closed, when the kids are not coming. So we planned it for Friday, Saturday, because those are the days when we are closed in the center. And he said he wants a certain percentage. I think he said 50%, but I didn't give him 50%. I told him, like, okay, no, I'm not giving you 50%. I'll give you $7,500, $8,000.
Do you remember what the total price was?
Total was 17 or 18,000.
Okay.
And I gave him 7,500 as an initial deposit. And then he was supposed to come just that week and next week and get the work started. And
was he? Sorry, I'm
go ahead.
Were they going to rip out your old parking lot or just go over the top of the old
No,
parking
they
lot?
were going to. So this one they were supposed to pave on just the top of it.
Okay, so
but the back they were completely. So this is a lot of added. So we had an existing one, but then we were adding additional parking spaces. So those areas they would dig it and completely do it, and the areas where we had the parking, they'll just
They were
see
just gonna cap it?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Because when I was looking at the satellite pictures...
Can I just pause for a second and I'll be back. Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Because when I looked at the satellite pictures of the place, from in the past, I could see that, compared to what it is now, that you added on. In the years, I have a program, I can look back over 10, 15, 20
Right.
years.
So I did first finish it back in 2014, but then we ran out of the parking space, so we wanted to finish a lot more additional parking space.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole project was for. So what happened, after we paid him the initial deposit, the next week it just snowed. So, what a luck, okay. And he then obviously couldn't.
I remember that. That was around Halloween, wasn't it?
Yes, I mean, that here, it's like abruptly just snowed. Okay,
because
like
the kids went trick-or-treat in the 1st of November.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
That's what happened. So it snowed, and so they had a perfect excuse, and they didn't show up. It was snowing, of course, they cannot do paving, right? So what am I going to say? I'm like, okay, fine. So then I thought that, okay, after the snow, they're going to come back. But he didn't come back. Then I followed up with him. I'm like, you took the money. When are you coming back? Because after that snow, it melted away, and it was nice and clear. Then he told me that, oh, no, wherever you get that coal or whatever, the paving materials, that's closed for the season.
Okay.
So we can't get it done.
Okay, now that usually closes, most paving places will close the second week of December, just so you know.
Okay, so he then said that, I'm like, okay, fine, then I'm assuming that you can't do it this year, and since it's a business account, I want to close on my books as well. So I don't want to pay you money for something which is going to be done next year. So you pay me back the money, and we'll again revive this back in spring. Spring. He never gave me back the money.
And do you remember what his excuse was?
He's like, no, we don't refund back. We'll get you back the money. We'll get the work done. You paid it. And it's like,
One thing that I found about them is they don't... So they have now, do you remember if he signed, like, anything?
Yeah, I actually was looking for that contract. I do have their contract somewhere.
So supposedly on their contract it says that after 72 hours you lose your deposit. You have 72 hours to decide that you don't want to do the job anymore. And then
I don't think there was anything like that in that
because
contract.
when you read all of their Better Business Bureau complaints and going back through all the companies that they had, one of their things that they respond to when people put bad reviews that they never got their deposit money back was, we don't give deposits after 72 hours.
Well, the work was supposed to be done after 72 hours.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No, I just because what I think they're doing is I think that they've almost created this perfect little scam where they take a deposit and then they'll not refund the deposit, and the customer will go, well, they took my deposit, and they say, well, we tried to contact you to do the job, you didn't answer, and we just didn't do it, and now you want your money back, but we don't have to give it back because we don't. And it's like this perfect little thing that they've worked out. You know.
So I don't think in my contract it was like a 72 hours, but anyways, I mean the whole point was the work to be done the next week. So it was anyways beyond 72 hours, and it snowed, and then he didn't return back the money, so I started the process with him like. Sometime in April, okay, now it's sunny, come back and do the work. And they won't. Then they came back out.
No problem.
Hi, how you done? Okay, thank you.
The guy at the Bobcat place told me that when they called the guy up and said, bring us back our equipment, the guy went to his MO, which was talk shit, threaten people, and he did. He threatened to come down there, kick the shit out of everybody, blah, blah, blah. Again, this guy, he's a dirtbag. He's a wannabe thug, in and out of prison dirtbag. Would never step to anybody who could actually like cave his face in. You know, he's just a yep. He's like my chihuahua. Yep. Oh, there goes little Joey. Yep. Run his big fucking mouth. Yep. So yeah, that's who this guy is. So here is the recording, and please stay with it and learn everything you can about these people and what they do, because chances are you have a similar company like this operating in your area.
So I'll go ahead and check it and then I'll call you. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Today or it can be another day?
Tomorrow. Okay? All right. Thank you. Yeah. Let me give this to somebody.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time.
Thank you.
This is awesome.
So right now, while I do this, right now as I do this, I am on the computer. I am emailing the Secretary of State to inform them what is going on. I first emailed the who did I email? I emailed somebody, and they said, no, we're not the people that you email. You need to email the Secretary of State. So I forgot who the hell I emailed. Jesus Christ. Attorney General. That's who I tried to reach out to the Attorney General. The Attorney General said this is a case for the Secretary of the Commonwealth. So they referred me to them. So what I am doing right now is copying the link for the video, and I am sending it over to the, the people that matter at the Secretary of State. So. She left the room. Again, this is a working math studio, so people are in and out of this place all night, and she has to help them. So she's coming back right now.
Yeah. Okay. So I started contacting them sometime from as soon as it was a little bit clear, because when they told me that it has been closed, they told me it typically opens by March or April, and so I started contacting them right around that time. Okay, it's clear, and now you have my money. Come do it, and they won't respond back. I probably had 760 texts back and forth.
Really?
Yes, and I had actually kept all those texts and the copies of everything and all. And they won't come, and finally they...
But did they give you any kind of... Were they just ghosting you, meaning they weren't even answering you, or were they giving you excuses why they couldn't come?
They will give, it's not open. First they said it's not open. When it's open, we'll reach back. They never reached back. So again, I went back, and I'm in May and June, I'm don't tell me it's not open now.
Right.
This is ridiculous, okay? So then they decided, we'll come next week, and then they won't show up, then next week not show up. So that's kind of what they kept on doing, and then they showed up and they dug out. They had really very bad materials, and I mean the whole setup was so bad. When they came for the job, they had a big truck and everything which looked professional, and they can do the work, because I have done this whole paving before. I know how a professional company looks like, right? So if somebody comes in a dingy little a trash truck, that's not the right thing.
Right.
So I'm what is this? Oh, we had a flat tire and something. They gave an excuse we couldn't get, but we'll get the new. We just don't want to keep on delaying this and all. And okay, we'll do this. So what they did, they got 2-3 loads of the chips materials. And that's it, they dumped it. And they really didn't even have any power tool. I mean, they've taken a work for $17,000-$18,000, and they're coming and hand digging.
Wow.
Okay, and that's something I'm how can you get this done?
So that's the moment when you knew that something wasn't
right.
Good.
Okay, so this is another. Again, this is all about getting money from the customer. So they make her give a deposit in the beginning. Okay, she gives a deposit, and then they have another clause in their contract, which is once they break ground or once the work starts, you need to make another payment. So I'm not sure if she talks about that in here. That's something I found out after, but they wanted her to make another payment. And they basically, she said they showed up, no equipment whatsoever. They're supposed to be cutting out a grass area, adding 9 parking spots to this parking lot, and they basically come out with hand tools and do about what effectively is 1 parking spot worth of work before they take off. But then they ask for their money. I do think she talks about that.
Then this guy lies to me. I called him. I was I'm choking. I'm going to emergency. Oh my God, so much drama.
Wow.
So much. He just lies, and I'm in emergency right now. I cannot do it, and I'm not a monster. If somebody's saying that, emergency, I'm whatever. Okay, fine. But then by that time, it was June, and I was getting tired of this guy. I'm no, something is really, really wrong. I trusted him for a long time. Then he comes in, and his son came.
So in the meantime, while this is all going on, is your parking lot totally ripped apart in disarray?
So, the parking lot is dug up. Yes.
And customers still are coming and going.
Right. Yes, but I had this little spot lot, which I had the existing parking, that's not touched.
Yeah.
So he has touched the ones which is area where we had to expand. So there's a little spot they had done there, and they had done this area.
Yeah.
They had just dug up. And there was no paving material, nothing. They just dug up, like hand kind of dug up.
Yeah.
And then they brought 2 trucks of the little chips, and that's about it. And then
So they call them millings in the business. So it's ground up asphalt.
correct.
And then when they're supposed to roll it, if it's a hot day, it might resemble a parking lot, but it's always going to be loose.
No, it wasn't to that level too. It was
wow.
literally the bare chips. I mean, no rolling, no forget,
okay.
no.
So she's saying that they basically brought in like a T-base gravel and threw that down. I thought she was talking about millings, but she's talking chips. So again, I wasn't clear about this. I saw the parking lot, and I'm more, it's been fixed since then, so you can't really tell what it was. But I'm going to think, she's talking more like chips. I think she's trying to infer that it wasn't asphalt, but it could have been millings. All fairness to the scumbags. But again, they're scumbags. So what are they, they're not fucking trying to do anybody any help.
Then he said, oh, I came here and I did the work, so you owe me money now. Because they had, the way they had it, like it was like 50% and then 25% and then 25%, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't give them initially the 50% or something, and then I gave him a little bit less. So he was like, oh, I came here and did the work, so now I need this much money.
Right.
So I was very hesitant on giving them money because they hadn't done the work. I'm like, I'm not giving you any money unless and until they won't take credit card. And they won't even checks and all also they won't.
Because they can't get bank accounts.
Right. No, they did have a bank account.
Oh.
They did give me, the son gave me, because after that I never saw the father.
Yep.
The son came and dealt, and the son is like, oh, my father is in hospital and we have no money and I just spent so much money. It's all going from my own pocket and everything.
Yep.
And he was like begging and crying, and I did all that work. And you have to trust us that we are here. Look, we didn't disappear. We came.
Wow.
And I wasn't very convinced, but my husband said, okay, fine, they have come here, okay, maybe, you know what.
Yeah.
And
You're good people. You're giving them the benefit of the doubt.
We gave them,
right.
And I stupidly transferred the money, and then they took the money.
And then that was about, about how much, about 50% of what they told you at that point?
Yeah, I think I total paid like something around $9,000, $10,000. But I mean, I do have all the records somewhere.
Do you wouldn't happen to have like any pictures of like while the process was going on?
Oh yeah, I did.
Would you at some point? Would you mind sending those to me through Facebook?
I'm just looking because I had created a whole big folder for these people because when I was like, I'm not going to leave you. So I did go to the Concord Small Business Code. I called the BBB and I did. And then I had a lawyer. Actually, he was like one of my student's father. And he's like, what's going on with you? And I'm like, oh, that's bad. And he's like, and then he also tried pursuing, but then it was like we had to go to Worcester, everything. I called the Worcester also town, and I told them they couldn't find any records. And then actually the gentleman, he even drove there, and then he said, Sushri, here's the thing. The business address is a fake address.
Yep.
There's nothing in there.
That's what they do,
Right, so there wasn't anything. We also found the home address, and there was a little dingy little thing which we couldn't find again. So we don't know where we are going after. Who are we going after? Because it's like a ghost.
Yeah.
They just disappear.
Yeah.
And then we call, and they have multiple different names, which is like sometimes pro paving, with this, that.
Yeah, so it was pro paving, seal it, rely paving, do all construction.
Exactly. So you
on top roofing.
Right.
So what they do is, so Pro Paving is actually a very successful paving company from like the Melrose area.
Right.
So they'll piggyback their name. And they'll do the same thing with on top roofing. That's another popular roofing company out in Millbury, you know?
Wow.
So they set up in my company as Premier Seal Coating and Line Striping Incorporated.
And that's how they got to you.
Yeah, but they did Premier Seal Coating and Paving Solutions. So I've had people, and I'm a well-established business, and I've had people say, one person was like, I found them, I started talking to them, and then I realized it wasn't you, and I confronted them and said, you can't have the same name as them, and, it's different. So,
because they have a little bit of a different
but like you said, when I did the research into the address, it's a fictitious address. But from what I understand, this Robert, or he would call himself Roberto, or he goes through different aliases, he has been told by the Attorney General that he can't own and operate a business. Then he started putting them in all his sons' names, and the same thing. Now, from what I hear, he is using a cousin, and they just picked, and the cousin didn't even know that he started the business in his name. Wow. He just set up the business, and he's been to jail numerous times. So when I first put this out on Facebook, that I found these people and I was looking for people who they scammed, somebody called me and said, hey, just be careful, because this Robert guy has been in and out of jail his entire life, and he does not care about going back. So don't be surprised if you're sitting in your pickup truck somewhere and they see you and confront you, you know? And, I don't care. I would like to use the power of my business to hopefully be a big enough voice to say, because other people I've talked to, this other guy who's just as passionate about it as you are, he's been trying to get the news involved, and they really took him for like 20 grand or something. And
this is the whole thing I had prepared back in 2019. This is from the lawyer. There is a whole give me 1 second. This is against them, the complaint.
So can you go?
This has the entire history of everything.
Does it?
Facts and what had happened and everything. The defendants quoted 13,500 to provide the labor, service, and materials. Plaintiff at 136 Great Road. This included without limitation following 2 years, 100% guarantee, dig up entire driveway or grass area, install this. This has all the details.
Wow, and that's public record, right? You filed that, so I can find that at the courthouse?
We tried to, but who do we file against? We could find that person.
Right,
so we had everything written and we had everything ready to go, but we couldn't file it against, because you need a party to
you got to pin it on somebody.
And if somebody is like, that person has disappeared, who do you file it?
Right.
So I had a lot of back and forth, and finally in 2019 I gave up. This thing. It started in 2017. He didn't do the work in 2018. And then 2019 is when I was still going back and forth. That was, and then I But
by then, 2019, they went from ProPave to Seal It.
Right, because they disappeared. So we didn't have anybody to serve it up, and who do we serve it? We had this ready, we had everything, but we had to serve it on somebody. The sheriff has to serve it on somebody. But there was nobody to serve it to.
And
And then here, he also said that ProPaving is listed by BBB as owned by Brandon Gerber. Who that is? I remember it as being owned by Robert Villatico. I wonder about that. So in terms of suing Robert, was he who you dealt with? So I did deal with Robert and Randy.
So Randy, okay,
And he wrote me that these guys are playing such a shell game that we have to figure out who to sue and where to send it to. Any other comments? So there is my back and forth comments with my lawyer.
And what? So after you guys complained, did they do anything did they ever try to make it right, or did they
No, they just didn't.
Not at all.
No, they didn't even bother to. No. I had this ProPaving. I had this whole text messages saved on my I probably finally deleted it somewhere because it was so long that I kind of gave up.
If you had to, when you look back on it now, Well, I mean, I can tell just from the story you told me, you do feel there are things that you did notice that you probably, that gave you a bad feeling, huh? With them?
I mean,
Whether it was the equipment, them showing up with ratty equipment.
First time when they came in, first time when they came to give the quote,
Yeah.
they did come up with a big truck, which looks like contractor. I think I made a mistake that I didn't really research them online very well before I signed up, because when I went into BBB, actually I did see a lot of complaints. But it won't have helped if they're changing names anyway.
Yeah, right. And that's what I am trying to stop. I am trying to stop this reign of, how do they, so they are what we call, and not to use it as a derogatory term, but they're gypsies. They're bloodline gypsies.
Right. Right.
And I will say, gypsies are known for two things. One of them is working like crazy, but the other is ripping people off. And that's, there are two types of gypsies. There are the types that go and just work and provide for their families,
and
there are the
people. And the other ones are cheaters.
and then the other ones are cheaters, and they give the other ones a bad name.
Right.
And in this industry, that is a word that is synonymous with people getting ripped off. And they are, because I know somebody who is related to them, and they've burned, they've done the same thing to this guy, where they started 10 years ago, a company piggybacked off of their own uncle or brother's name or whatever. And what happens is they run both companies into the ground.
And they're very, very aggressive and very rude.
Yeah. So what do you? And that's something I've also heard that too.
It is. So I mean, it can be very you will be getting scared. I mean, I don't scare pretty easy.
Yeah.
But that being said, with the way that guy speaks, I mean, anybody who are dealing with them is like, oh, I'm going to come literally and attack you, kind of thing. That's kind of the attitude he has, and that's kind of how he talks about things.
Yeah.
The son, they're very, very rude, very aggressive, very violent.
I heard that.
You will be scared.
Yeah.
I mean, we had screaming match literally because I'm not giving up, and you don't scare me easy because I'm a lady here running my business. I'm running multiple businesses too.
I'm standing up for myself.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the son and my husband is way more calm than me, and the way he handles, he speaks and all, he literally will abuse you on the phone. So
no kidding.
It is, yeah.
Well, that's a bit.
I mean, I can imagine a lot of people who will be scared and not even go after him. I tried to go after him, but there will be a lot of people who will be just scared to even try that.
Yeah, and
that's the threats they do and those kind of things. It's scary.
Yeah.
It is scary. I mean, who knows? Maybe they come to your house and attack or something
throw
like
stuff through your window.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Those are the things a lot of people, because they literally harass you for that. It's dangerous.
And if that's their mindset, and if this is the way they conduct themselves, you can't put it past them at all to do stuff like that.
No. I'm still trying to look for the contract if I have it. I probably threw it very recently somewhere. Because I had it for such a long time.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. No. I'm looking to see, because I did have all the contracts which I'd given, everything, and all the text messages. I counted actually the back and forth text messages before even he came to do. I had I told you the number 760. I remember it.
Was he rude in his text messaging and everything?
Oh yeah.
If you ever find that, I would love to see that stuff. I would love anything that you'd be willing, pictures,
Excuse me.
anything that you're willing.
I did, let me see if I haven't, if it's gone. actually I destroyed all those things. I did keep it for a very long time. Oh yeah, here it is.
Oh, you got it? Oh man.
Okay, so it all started okay, I got the timeline wrong. So he started in no, my timeline is right. Finally when he came back, that was in May 7th. Well, here's the thing, because it's a cloud messages, not all messages are there, but plenty of are there.
Yep.
So that was May. So yeah, the work started in 2017, and then they disappeared, and then they did not come until like June. So May 7th, I kept on saying, and then on May 7th, no, nothing, no, okay.
Yeah.
April, when I told them, they said it hasn't opened. I contacted back in May, and they said that they're going to come, and they didn't come. They were supposed to come on May 10th, disappeared, okay? Then again, I contacted them. So I'm getting bits and pieces of the checks, but it is still there.
Yeah.
So on June 18th, again I told him, hi Roberto, you were supposed to come and finish the job on Monday. Today is Monday and you are not even picking up my phone. I spoke with Randy and he said he will come tomorrow. I need to know what time are you coming tomorrow. This is totally unacceptable. I cannot wait for another 2 weeks to finish this job. It should have been done in 2 days. Then he texts me, we are coming tomorrow. And I said, okay, what time? And then he's trying to play that game because he wants another set of money from me. Mm-hmm. Then he texts me back on June 21st. No money went into my account. When is that money coming? This is with Randy. So this conversation was not with Roberto, who's the dad. And I had a whole back and forth text with Roberto as well.
Yeah.
But this is the one which I have right now. Then he said, no, okay, there is no way I'm coming until I get that second check. You know, that was ideal. Put the money in my account and I'll be there to right away to finish a job. All I need is one more day. Then he said, check your bank and tell me what happened. My bank said it should have went through 12 p.m. in the morning, Wednesday night. Then I told him, you will receive a check today, and that was a date given. It's a physical check. I will not transfer any money. You need to come here and do the work. Check will come in the mail, so check your mail. And then you do not even know my address. Then he tells me, as like your bank knows your address, so they can always, like you when you do a bill pay.
Right.
So I didn't give him a straight away check because I had already figured out that this guy is fake. So I told him like, okay, I'll give you a check.
Right.
I'll send you a bill pay instead of giving you it right away. So then he says, oh, how do you know my, I'm like, your bank knows it. When I do a bill pay, they will just deposit, okay. And then if it is a wire transfer, you will get it directly. I'll finish your job right away, ma'am. I do not want to prolong this, but I need the money to finish the job. When the money is in my account, I'll come there and do the job right away. There is no problem. I'll let you wait. I'll not let you wait. I'll do it ASAP. You told me the money today will be in my account. Then I finally transferred another $1,750. Amount of $1,750 has been deducted from my account on Monday. I have a cashier's check ready for you for that balance. I will give that to you when you come to do the work. I'll call my bank and check on the status. Well, it ain't in my account yet, and there was still money left. You were supposed to send the whole amount of. So first time he took half, which was 7,500. Then he was taking a half and half of 3,500. So that was 1,750 and 1,750.
Yep.
So the first slot, and he wanted the more, but he's not doing any work, and he keeps on asking me the money.
Right.
So that's what happened. Then I did release him the check, and I told him, no, you have to come and get the work done because I can. Then I told him, you will get the balance when you come and before you start the work. You have played enough games already for me to trust you. I have released more than half the payment. I have the check ready for the rest. You come and do the job and you'll get the payment. I'm talking to the bank to get the status on wire transfer. Okay, the money has been taken from my account, and I spoke to the bank and they mentioned it will be deposited today. It's still 21st, so it will be done today. I understand you want the money and I'm willing to pay you, but I'm honestly done playing games and doing this with you. I have a cashier's check ready for you, which I'll give you when you come tomorrow. Finish my job and take the balance. What time are you guys coming? That is in June 23rd. So going on from June 18th to June 23rd.
Yep.
Then he says, you were supposed to give us that payment on Thursday. We'll come on Thursday. I'll have I have it all documented. I called my lawyer. My lawyer said, you voided the contract when you pay us the second payment.
Yeah.
in full, we will come and do it. Until then, that's it. They don't have any lawyer. They're shitty people.
Right.
Yeah, you are the one playing games. Stop playing games and let's do this right. Pay me the second payment and I will have the job done in one day like the contract says. Then I said the contract said the work will be completed by last Saturday, June 16. Today is June 23rd. You also said yesterday you will come to today to finish the work. And then he says, oh, it's raining outside. Look outside, it's raining. I'm like, no, it's not raining in Acton because the work has to be done in Acton. I don't care if it is raining in New Jersey, right?
Right.
Where you're supposed to work to finish the work. You didn't come yesterday and today you have a new excuse. You didn't pay us on Thursday, and then he goes back. If you paid us on Thursday, we would be there to pay off a second payment in full in our last payment. I do not trust you now. I know you are going to screw me on the last payment. I want that in full too.
Oh, man.
Then he says you are the one. Okay, so that goes on, and then that continues June 25th, and then I keep on responding. Then he doesn't respond. So I have all these texts, and these are partial. This is a communication between Randy. So, but I also had a communication with Robert Vitali, who's the dad.
Yep.
And the dad is terrible. And there is multiple phone calls and all. Yeah. So, yep, I still have a lot. And I'm sure if I go back to my bank and all, I should be able to find it as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, anything, because I know, like, when the Attorney General gets, I want that, any screenshots that you can share.
BBB, like I did go through BBB. BBB actually sent me a letter as well. They said they couldn't find. They contacted that guy for 3-4 times and they couldn't find, and they marked it like, okay, not rate down, and so that's all we can do. They are not lawyers, because I talked to BBB too. I'm like, okay, you are supposed to do something. They're like,
right. Well, and that's a lot of times people, the Better Business Bureau is mainly just a consumer advocate. They just, they're there to hopefully be one place that people will look. But over the years of Google and Yelp, and it got so diluted. Remember back when my grandparents were young and they would need to hire somebody, they'd go to they used to have a book, they'd go to the book. Yeah, but now there's just so many things. And that's the other thing. You just look at this new company that they started and you look, they already have 2 reviews, and one of them is the wife of the son, Brandon or Randy or whatever, and the other one is another friend that's on one of their Facebook. It's like it's a big scam. It's all a bunch of BS. Everybody's involved in it. They're all trying to prop everybody up to make them look real and legit.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm gonna nail these guys. So.
Oh yeah, here is my BBB thing that was filed on July 2nd in 2018. Complaint ID number, pro paving and seal coating.
Yep.
So all that, and I had a back and forth with them. Their address was pro paving and seal coating, 189 Constitution Ave, Worcester, that time.
Yep.
And they went ahead and they filed it, and then they finally closed it. So then I called them. I'm like, what are you doing? Why did you close my case? So then they said they didn't find that business under that address. That address which I filed was from their contract paper which they gave me, but that was a fake address.
Yeah.
So then I called them, and the BBB actually closed the case, saying that, well, that address doesn't exist, so it's not the case. So then I called the town of Worcester, and I got their actual address, which was 1 Burncourt Street, Worcester, and 44 Dixwell Street, Worcester.
Yep.
These are the ones, and then I called BBB back again, and I gave them, and I opened another case against them. But those addresses were also fake, because those were ghost addresses, and but that was the address which was registered with the town.
Okay, the 44 Dixfield?
Right,
okay,
that's a house address, and the office was the Burncourt thing, but both did not exist.
Okay, okay.
Yes, so I started it in July 1st, and July 25th, finally BBB told me, you recently requested help concerning a problem with the company named above. To date, the company has not responded to our correspondence. If you heard back from the company, please contact us, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, the company never contacted me, so, and then, they finally said that, look, we are just making, BBB has made several attempts to contact the business regarding the above reference complaint. We regret to inform you that we have not received a response from the company. So this was in August 15th.
Yep.
So that didn't work, and finally just had to BBB like backed off and closed the case. That's
Yeah. Yeah. And well.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I have multiple. I mean, I have destroyed some of the evidences because I just kind of didn't think that it's going to come.
Yeah. I just anything you'd be willing to, send me a picture of, if you had pictures that you could find of any work that they did out there, any screenshots that you have of anything that you're willing to screenshot, and particularly of them being nasty to you through text messages.
Right. That was mostly with the father.
The dad, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think I have that anymore. But I mean, if you
because it's going to take a good month before this whole thing comes out.
Right.
So if you're, if you're sitting around and it pops in your head, or you're going through your drawer and you find something, you go, oh, this, because the Attorney General is going to want anything that we can prove, because even though you're reading it verbatim, the court looks at it, it's hearsay unless they have.
I agree.
And that's the thing, like, the story matters, but the
physical evidence,
it does, because that's what's gonna really nail these guys. Lastly, I didn't pay you for doing this, right? Did I pay you anything? Did offer to compensate you for this in any way?
Of course not. I'm like, where are you coming from? You didn't pay me anything.
No. But I didn't promise to pay you anything for doing this, right?
No. There is no payment involved in this. This guy had really, they have done a lot of bad. They took my money. They scammed me. I put in a lot of effort. I just couldn't continue it. I'm glad somebody's doing it.
And listen, for me, as a business owner, these are the types of businesses that you don't, you have to, you guys help kids.
Yes.
This is what you do.
Exactly.
So if I'm a business owner and I come here, I look at this place, this is you guys, I get goosebumps even saying it. You guys are you're handling our children.
Right.
You're trying to make our kids better.
Yeah.
And so a place like this, and I know, that a lot of times places like this, they're not sitting on tons of money.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So you have to come into a place like this, and you're working one-on-one with the business owner. You can relate to them, what they're going through, what it takes to make this and go through this. And I mean, granted, 3 years ago there wasn't COVID, but when you have a business like this where you depend on people coming in, and we
have kids coming in.
It's so hard for you.
I have kids as young as 3.5 years old coming in.
Yep.
So for me, it is super important to have the safety of the kids. And that is why we have to do the work on certain days when the kids. I can't have big trucks here when the children are coming.
Right.
These are all very important.
Yeah, and it's. I think as anybody who owns a business, you have to be able to. I tell my guys, you gotta know who your customer is. Right? You gotta know what your customer's needs are, what their wants are. You have to know where they're coming from. You look at a place like this, and altogether between what you paid them and what you had to pay to redo this place, you're talking over $40,000.
That's absolutely.
What could you have done
because
with $40,000?
It was more damage what they did rather than any work. If they wouldn't have touched it, I didn't have to rebuild it. Rebuilding is always more expensive than doing it from scratch. It's much easier.
And what could you have done with that money?
Oh, of course.
For your business,
Absolutely. And then we got hit with COVID and with the kids.
Who suffers? The kids suffer.
Exactly.
It's kids.
The kid suffers. I mean, if this business closes, then we are helping the community.
You are.
We are helping the children here.
Yep.
And I mean, we are not like some kind of business which has a lot of profit. This is a children business, like teaching math.
Right.
Really, that's what we do.
And I know, because this is the business that I'm in. When it comes time to do the parking lot, this isn't something that people are doing because they want to do. Right? This is, a lot of times it's been put off for decades. And it's the last thing. It's so expensive.
It's so expensive.
It's, what I see is, I see guys like that who who capitalize, number one, on people's emotions and the fear of how much this is going to cost, and the promise of, hey, we can cut, if you got more than one estimate, then you realize, wow, for that price, that's a pretty good price.
Right.
And in your mind, you're like, great, we can get this done, and that little extra money that we were going to have to spend to have someone else do it, what can we do with that money now? And and instead of being like a company, I'll tell my guys, like, we'll pull up some, time to be the heroes. They could have been a hero. They could have come in this place, delivered a great product at a fair price, left you guys happy. You would have called them every time you needed something.
Absolutely. Not only called them, I would have. See, I mean, here, I also have a clientele here.
Yes.
I would have referred them.
Yeah.
I would have told them, like, hey, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sure it worked the other way, too. When things started going bad and your customers are coming in here, now, you don't want that to make your customers think, or you don't want that to represent you in any way. Right. Wow, what's going on over there? What, they don't got money to fix the parking lot? Like, why are they leaving stuff in shambles?
That's how the lawyer I got, actually, the lawyer, I wasn't paying him. I didn't get anybody, because I didn't really have money to spend on a lawyer. I mean, after getting scooped off, I can't. I mean, lawyers are expensive. Okay, no offense, but they are expensive. So, the lawyer I got, actually, he was grandfather of my student.
Yep.
So Ned was looking at it, Ned is going through it, and every time he brings Ellie in and he sees this, and I didn't even know he was a lawyer. Mm-hmm. Okay. So one day, he was like, Sushri, if you don't mind, what's going on here? I'm like, Ned, don't even ask. I mean, then I tell him all like, oh, what do you want to do? You want to do something?
Yep, and right away he knows how to help you.
And he's like, okay, I'm a lawyer, and his grandfather, so he doesn't have his working license anymore. So even though Ned started helping me, but he didn't have the license to practice. So he got another of his friend who was doing it for free.
Yep.
So I didn't really was paying any attorney, but I was trying, and then I went to the Concord Court myself, and I tried to do things, because we don't have so much money to spend another $20,000. And there are big corporations.
Right.
Okay?
She spent $20,000 to collect 10.
Right.
And that's,
I can't do that. That's nuts, right? And we don't have that kind of money to do it.
Yep.
So he was helping us, but then we couldn't go after somebody.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would really happy that because that's what they're doing, and I think they probably came to me because they saw a woman-run business and it's a female here.
What does she wear? What does she know? We can pull it over on her. If she's going to be an easy target, she's not going to fight us when it comes time.
Exactly.
And that's what I mean. These guys know. It's it's a scam. They know who to run the scam on. And then sometimes they meet people who, they're like, oh wow, like they weren't expecting you to put up a fight. And these other people that I've talked to, was one lady's like, oh, it was my dad, and like, they came and basically took their money and just didn't show up.
That's exactly what they did.
I've heard of them doing jobs and then finishing and going and saying, oh yeah, it was supposed to be $3,000. No, you owe us $7,000. And to the older crowd, because older people are proud. They don't want to be known for not paying their bills, so they just, okay, I guess that's what it is. Well, we gave you an estimate, not a proposal, and that's the other thing. It's they go to do one job. I've heard they go to do one job and do it one way, and then they finish and try to bill for more. And they say, well, it was an estimate, not a proposal. And then if you're an older person, you're like, well,
maybe I misunderstood.
And that generation, that generation is more apt to be like, the good thing to do is you pay your bills. And so I'm just going to pay my bills.
I mean, this guy, even after he scammed me the money, he has the audacity to tell me that I'm scamming him.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable. I think you're going to screw me out of the last payment.
Seriously?
That's crazy.
You did not do any work. You took the money and you go away and you are blaming me?
Yeah.
And you took the money in 2017. You don't show up to work until 2018 June, and then you don't come and do the work, and you want full payment without finishing the work. Who gives you full payment? They took about 65% of the payment they took out of the total what they quoted me.
So when they came and they started digging up where the additional parking is over here. Is that all that they did at that point for that money?
Yeah, so the first day they came, so their contract was written in such a way that the first day, so the half deposit before they even start. That's what I gave first in 2017. And the second, I think there were three phases. So first 50% before even the start, which is what they took in 2017. The second 25% was when they come after the first day of work. And that is the 25% we are talking about is around 3,500.
Yep.
Which is what we had that huge fight about. So I paid 17 because I wasn't comfortable on paying him another 3,500 after the 7,000 something which I paid him. So I told him, no, I'm going to split that 25% to 2 days because you haven't done anything. So he comes in.
That's you taking control back.
Right. So I said, look, your job, because the first day when they came in, they didn't have any equipments. And I could see that they cannot do anything done. So
they basically showed up to get the check.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, we were here. We did something. Give me the money.
Right. Exactly. Those showed up without because when I did the major portion of this paving back in 2014, this was done within like 5 hours. Okay. So
simple. This is a simple job.
Came in, and within 5 hours, I even remember I dropped my son in the daycare and I came and I was doing a meeting and like a couple of meetings later he's like, oh, it's done. I'm like, really? Because I was thinking, wow, it's a big thing and all. But this guy, the second day they came in, they didn't do anything because they didn't have the equipment. So I remember my recollection from the paving was when they did 2014 and they had such big trucks and everything that this is Route 2, right? Route 2 is major. They blocked the entire place and the police was here and they had to pull the permits and everything. These guys had no such thing.
Yeah, so that's, and again, when we, so when I just did, when I put this all together, I may, just to keep the story chronological, I may, instead of running this complete, I may cut it. And just put it in line. You know what I'm saying?
That's fine.
So, but I won't misrepresent anything that you say. I won't take anything you said out of context.
Look, here's the thing. I mean, I will be really, really happy and eager to see that they do get punished. Because it's not just me. There are a lot of other people. I'm 100% sure they're scammed. So
and if you go into any of the names of their businesses and read the reviews, either on Google or Yelp, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
I'm glad you're doing it because somebody needs to get it done. And unfortunately, I couldn't fight this fight, but I'm happy to be with you.
You're gonna fight it. You're gonna fight it with me. So they didn't pull any permits or anything?
I don't think so because the next day when they came in, like the first day when they came in, the first day they took the check and they disappeared for like October till June of next year. Okay, so the first day when they came in, they were supposed to get, after the first day's work, they were supposed to get the 25% work. They told me it's a 2 days work. First day is taking and everything. When they came in and they were doing the work, I couldn't believe that. I'm like, this is bullshit. How can
they were really out with like shovels? They didn't have a bobcat or anything?
Shovels. He had a hand thing. He was like, I'm like, no, for much less of a spot, I had those guys bring in the bigger machines and do it, and you're hand rolling it. How is it going to work? It's not going to work. So I already had my doubts, and I'm like, then they gave me all that excuses about their flat tire and couldn't get the machine and all those things, but they wanted the 25% of the money that day. That's what we had the back and forth, and then I split it up. I said, okay, 1750 because you didn't really do the work. You were supposed to do a certain amount for me to give you the money. And then I paid him the 1750, and the next 1750 was the due, which is what that text was about. So by then they had already taken like 65-70% of the payment.
Now, when you had the parking lot, done in 2014. Do you remember if they made you like set up structured payments?
No.
So, and that's my thing.
He didn't even charge me anything initially.
No, I didn't know because, and that's what I'm going to tell you, and you probably learned this, and it's not me trying to teach you anything, but if a company is solvent enough to operate, a big company.
Right,
They're
right.
never going to ask you for a deposit.
Right.
Now, I do have some friends who own like hardscape businesses, where they're doing projects at people's houses that are $80,000-$90,000,
Right.
and they might ask for a 20 or 30% deposit,
Right. Not
so that they don't
that's too much.
but in this business, there's very high margins.
Right.
So, if this parking lot costs you $30,000 to pave, it probably only costs the paver $7,000 to do.
Right.
But you're paying for his insurance, you're paying for his equipment.
Of course.
Just like you got.
For us, yeah.
But the difference in all of that is they know, like, if you have somebody that's asking you for that much money down, so roofers, when I just had a metal roof put on my house, right? And it was like 30 grand, and the guy's like, we need this much down, we need this much the day we show up. This is a huge company, and I'm like, well, why? Like, you don't have enough money to float this job, and it's going to take you 2 days. You'll have a check in 2 days.
Right.
Well, his thing is like, well, listen, once we do all this work, we put all this on your house. At any time, you can throw us out of here. And
No, that's
as hard as as hard as it is for people to collect, his thing to me was, we've been burnt, and it's hard for us to collect, and you have the roof on your house. So this is just our way. And my thing to him was, look, as another business owner, this is just how it looks. It just doesn't look right. Like, you can't assume that everybody is going to screw you over.
Yeah.
And same thing with this.
But you know what? Here's the thing. I learned my lesson. I don't pay anybody upfront.
Right.
Because I was burnt.
Yep, and that was one of my questions for you, is not to make you, not to, make you feel bad or anything, but did you learn like a lesson?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my biggest lesson. I mean, so the first time when that guy did, he never asked me that, and somehow I was stupid enough. I mean, to actually pay.
Was he like a smooth talker? Was he clean, and did he present himself well?
Yeah, the first day when he came and took, oh my God, he was like, oh yeah, oh, this is a wonderful thing what you guys do and all those things. Oh, I'm so glad. I hope this was something like that. When my kids were younger, the guy was like,
knew exactly what to do.
Exactly. Yeah. He was like, oh my God, okay, this is so awesome. You guys help the community. You guys do this. You teach children.
Mm-hmm.
All those things, and he was like, wow, he was the best person, honestly.
Yeah, you felt good when you left.
Right.
Yeah.
I trusted him when we gave him. But the second time, the paving we did, this was a $20,000 work.
Yeah.
But he didn't charge me anything up front.
Mm-hmm.
He did the whole thing, and then I paid.
And you pay. Yeah. Pay when the job's done.
Yes.
And I know his son is the little short kid with bald head, and he's either always in a white tank top, or he doesn't wear a shirt at all, white t-shirt.
Kids. No, he has multiple kids.
Oh, I know he does. I know the one who's I can show you a picture of, who's the one that does most of his bidding, is he's the one that I know. He's I know him to have problems with drugs. He was, addicted to pills,
Yeah.
and that pulled him down. So it was, if you can see this picture, you'll be able to tell if this was the guy. Yeah, so this is the son that works with him most of the time.
Yeah.
I think either that's Bob or Brandon, maybe.
Randy.
Randy.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah.
And then the dad, the one that I know or that I've heard is, starting all the problems.
The dad is a big guy. He's a pretty big guy.
Oh, that's not the guy. That's not the dad.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, so so I know this the son that I showed you a picture of. He's the guy that that goes out and does most of the work that gets sold.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am just, I'm befuddled. I'm glad that you took the time.
Yeah,
really
no,
glad
no.
that you took the time to talk to me. And again, if in the next couple weeks any physical things that you can send me,
Sure.
just screenshots, I'd appreciate it.
I will send it.
Yeah, I left my card. It's got my email and stuff on it, and my phone number. And anytime, anytime you need anything, parking lot related, you call me and I'll take good care of you.
Thank you.
And I'll.
And you do snow plowing too?
I do, but I'm far away. Yeah,
Do you
it
know
is far.
anybody here?
Who's the paving company that you used the second time?
Oh, they're from New Hampshire.
Oh, they are?
So far.
Okay, yeah. There's a lot of paving companies do it. There's a
Snow plowing is something which I'm really looking for this this place.
Yeah.
I do have a couple businesses. So I have here and I have one at Nera too. It's all nearby too. So I mean, if there is somebody.
I have a whole network of people that
Okay.
So I will send you some contact info
Okay.
when I get back to my office.
Sure, that
okay.
would be appreciated.
And I really appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
You know.
No, I'm glad somebody's doing it. I'm really, really glad. I mean, it's something like, like you get duped so bad that it like leaves a scar for you.
Check on the ground.
It kind of leaves a
Yes. Yeah.
scar for you. Like, how could you be such a fool?
Yeah.
You think like, oh my God, how
Yeah.
could I become such a fool?
Yeah, and I'm sure your husband at the same time, he's, you say he's a lot calmer than you are, but at the same time, I'm sure he wanted to wring these people's necks.
Of course.
Because you work hard for your money.
Yes,
This is
yes.
who you are, and it's
yeah.
almost like somebody just blatantly.
Comes in
Yeah.
and then they bully you and take the money and then they just think they're doing the right thing. No, I'm really honestly glad and
Yeah.
I'll be happy to help you eat.
Great.
Anyway, honestly, somebody needs to do it and I'm glad you're doing it.
All right, great. I thank you.
I
again
tried,
for your
I couldn't
time.
get it. So
No, I know, and that's the thing. It's like, and I know just from, I work in this business, and there's another company who.
See, that's why it will be easier for you, and also you're on that side, right?
Yeah.
You're nearby Worcester side.
Yeah, I'm in Oxford. I live in Oxford.
So it's still big.
Yeah.
For me to do it in Worcester, it was very difficult.
My wife and I were talking, and my wife's like, why? Like, because she's helping me go through this, and she's like, you notice how, like, as the names of the businesses change, it's almost like a ring, right? You start in the center of where you live, and this is your business, this is your first name. And then as you start to screw people, you have to widen your
Of
area
course, you have to.
because you burnt your name in that
Right,
area.
right.
So now you change. You may keep the same name, but you
But this
branch
guy
out a little
actually
bit.
needs to be put behind bars, to
He
be
does.
honest, because otherwise he will leave Massachusetts and then
Yep.
he'll go and do New Hampshire.
Yeah, and that's the thing, it's like-
he'll do somewhere.
And my daughter's
How old is your daughter?
Oh, I have 4.
You have 4?
Yeah, I have a 23-year-old, a 18-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 12-year-old.
Wow.
And the
okay.
oldest just graduated college, and she went, pre-law. So she.
That is amazing!
Yeah,
Wow!
And,
That is so amazing!
yeah, it's weird because she went to Suffolk University for pre-law, did the whole thing, and now she works in the cannabis industry as a compliance director to learn. So she manages the laws that these, first her mother is like.
Oh, that's pretty much the end of that. So, yeah, I'm reaching out to the other 3 people that contacted me and trying to, do the same thing with them. And just going to try to keep being a thorn in this prick's side until, till he changes his name or steps in front of a bus or some shit. So, that's it. Let me know what you think.